Warning, you are about to enter the BGP suite. No thongs, no boy shorts, no thigh highs, no commandos are permissible. BGP, big girl panties only. So pull up to woman up. And no, please don't leave with your panties in a bunch.
Hello and welcome to BGP. Today's topic is Super Bowl Sunday. Was it too black? Was Super Bowl too black? Super Bowl halftime. Was Super Bowl... You'll make me sick. You make me sick. Okay. Was Super Bowl halftime too black? That is our topic today. Was it too black to you, Neisha?
No, it was fine.
Okay. You liked it?
I loved it.
You had no problem with it?
I had no problem with it.
Wow. I got a lot of friends that were on my social medias that said that it glorified gangbanging, things of that nature. What did you think of it, Mona?
I think the Super Bowl was very, very white.
Really?
And I think the Super Bowl served its perfect. I think the Super Bowl served its purpose. It fit the agenda for what they were trying to do in California, and it served its purpose for showing the negative stereotypes that are in California that we talk about when it comes to gangsters. So the Super Bowl was very white economically, and it was very typical negative stereotypes, especially for African American men. That's my opinion.
Do you think because of the shadow that right now the NFL has on them about the whole Kaepernick thing, and do you think that's why they went this direction?
I don't think there's an issue with Kaepernick anymore. They moved past it.
Moved beyond it.
That when they hired Jay-Z, he was the guy to take over and cover so they can get past that. They already gave him a quote unquote apology for getting it wrong, and that's pretty much it. So, we as black people, we forgive easy. We just say a few little words and we like, all right, let's move on. And when they hired Jay-Z, quote unquote, that was it to me. Like, you see the stats, the numbers and everything when it comes to watching the game is back where it was, if not, kind of more now. Right. It's not like low views anymore like it was when the quote unquote protests first started. So, I think the Kaepernick thing, I don't even think it's an issue. Like, it should be, but it's not an issue anymore.
What about the issue with them not hiring enough black?
Hold on, because I want to answer that.
Yes.
We are supposed to be boycotting the NFL for the way that they treated Colin Kaepernick when he decided to shed a light on racial inequality and police brutality and many more of the issues that we face as black Americans. You can guarantee that black people are going to get off cold. And there is still a former Dolphin football coach by the name of Brian Flores, who is currently suing the NFL for discriminatory hiring practices. So how easily we forget. And I just want to say this. Aren't we in the middle of a goddamn pandemic? So we've been wearing them nasty ass masks for almost 2 years. We were taught to social distance, but that stadium had 70,000 plus people in the stands, not including the players and the entertainment, and they said that they handed out masks. That mask requirement was not enforced. And the social distancing was not enforced. The social distancing in the bars that people went to watch the Super Bowl, the Super Bowl parties that people had at their houses, there was no social distancing. And I just think that it's peculiar that we don't have a guideline for COVID-19 when it's time to make some goddamn money.
That's it, yeah. Now, my understanding is that it was some strict rules in place that they had to provide their vaccine card. They had to show at least that they No, I think everybody had to show a completely vaccinated card when they got there. That was not it.
No,
And
you
then,
had to. You either had to be fully vaccinated or you had to show proof that you tested negative within the last 48 to 72 hours.
Okay.
It was just that.
Yeah. But you're right. It's and it's not just with the football thing. They put aside a lot of the rules when it comes to time to make some money.
Right, because in the pandemic, when COVID first came out, it was said that African American people were hit the hardest.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And those people became gravely ill, and some of them didn't make it. Those people lost their jobs and they lost their homes. But like I say, it's money time.
Exactly.
We'll deal with COVID tomorrow, but today, because
Let's get
that
this
man
paper.
that built that stadium, he needs to get his money back.
Yes, exactly. One of the things that also came up that while I was reading about people's comments about the halftime was that Dr. Dre, and Dr. Dre has a history of abuse to women. And the NFL definitely has, they turn a blind eye. They just, cover up domestic violence all the time when it comes to football. Do you think a lot of people felt that it was, that was not a good look to have him as part of that when the NFL already does not deal with abuse the way they should?
I can see that point of view. I can see that. And I guess my question to that, and, I'm definitely not a supporter of anybody that's abusive to anybody, but I guess my question or my little bit of pushback to that will be, how long does a person have to pay for something that took place a long time ago?
True.
So if a person attempts to make amends, has gone to court for it, the case has since been, not thrown out, but I believe a settlement was, awarded or whatnot. If all that took place many, 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 many years ago, how long should he have to be punished for it?
True.
Do we ever get to a point where it's like, okay, that's that. All right, let's move forward and let's do that? Because if that's the case, then everybody got to sit there and just sit in a mess for the rest of their lives for bad decisions that we've made.
True.
You know what I mean?
And I do recall when he was doing the interviews for when Straight Outta Compton came out, he did take the time on a couple of interviews, and he just said, I want to apologize for the abuse that, I just did not know how to conduct myself during that period of time or whatever. And I'm just paraphrasing because that's not exactly what he said.
Right.
But he did try to clean that up, and he seemed like he was very sincere in his apology. So you're right. It shouldn't be held against you forever.
Hold on. Let me speak on it. There's a time and a place for everything.
True.
And the NFL was not the place to rehash the domestic violence part of the situation. But I want to give a shout out to DS1 Ross right now because on his broadcast, Sheep Stay Sleep TV, did you guys know that a African-American NFL football player was arrested at LAX International Airport for domestic violence?
Yep. Adrianne. Yeah, that's his name.
Yeah.
Like when you first said, I'm like, okay.
And that was pushed under the rug. Nobody really knows about that.
Yeah.
And the NFL is known for doing that.
Yeah, but
True. Yes.
They tend to do that. Also, just did you find, because I know you said it was more white, you felt that it was white. Did you have a problem with, because I heard a lot of pushback for them sea-walking and people, and him wearing his blue rag outfit. Was that an issue? Did it send a negative tone, you think, to the halftime show?
Well, okay, so some were sea-walking and some were bee-walking. Let's be clear. You had different sets that was doing their walk. So I'm gonna be fair. As far as what he was wearing, I mean, look, Snoop a Crip. He'll tell you a Crip. He tell you that on every song that he does. So it's no surprise that every now and then you're gonna see him kind of rep where he, his colors. Does what he wear, like, determine how I'm going to, listen to his music? No. That was what he's singing. I mean, did it affect him going, like he was singing some of his number ones. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, how people dance, how people sit there and rep where they from, I personally don't have a problem with it. Could be because of where I'm from. I don't know. But to me personally, I that didn't bother me that they was sitting there doing their walks when they was doing their walks and doing different dances. For me, I was more proud because I'm like, this is probably the one time where you see, and I won't say one because we can go back to previous Super Bowl performances. I'll say that. But this is that one, to me, in that one moment where you got to see a different type of representation for Black people that exists in this world too. And we can't keep sitting there trying to hide different sides of who we are because they exist too. Mm-hmm. They exist in our communities too. And if we gonna pretend like they don't exist, then we can ignore everybody else too. Yes, you have your high earners. Yes, you have your quote unquote high value. Yes, you have your teachers and everything else. We have all that. We know. But in the industry, you also have your rappers, your gangster rappers. And when we hear music, certain types of music, that determines how you dance for some people. So I didn't have a problem with it. I know that there was a difference in dancing for depending on the performers, and that it wasn't only about C walking and B walking. Like you had when others were performing, you had different people doing different things too. So I honestly didn't care. For me.
What about you, Mo?
Did we really mourn our brother Nipsey Hussle, who passed away 2 years ago from gangbanging right here in South Central LA? Right here. I think these are dangerous times for Black people. And before I answer that question, I want to go back a little bit. The Super Bowl or the halftime show represented Compton, Long Beach, Inglewood, up to no good, South Central. Oh, let me correct it, not South Central, it's South LA, because South Central has a stain on it for violence and drug dealers and gang banging. True. So they changed that name to South LA so that they can encourage other races of people to move in, which is causing Black people to be gentrified out of the communities that they have lived in damn near all their lives. And I think that the resurgence of gangster rap at this moment, when they are trying their best to gentrify Black people, who are only 6% of California right now, that, and I might be reaching, but I'm a reacher, that performance validated for white people the reason why they should gentrify these communities. Compton, Long Beach, South Central, Inglewood. It was a negative, because I'm getting excited, stereotype of what Black men in California stand for. We talk about how gangster rap destroyed the community. We talked about the Pookies and the Ray Rays, the men that people are calling Pookie and Ray Ray. I love Pookie and Ray Ray.
I love Pookie and Ray
Ray. We talk about Pookie and Ray Rays are the gangbangers. They are the ones that sell and use drugs. They are the ones that do drive-bys. They are the ones that murder innocent people. They are the ones that crip walk and blood walk and dance and party and get high and are lazy and irresponsible and help create all the bastard babies in the community. But out of this side of our mouths, we celebrate it. We throwing up the W. We throwing up B's. We crip walking. We got little boys out there in khaki suits. The girls is shaking that ass. We in the dancery. I think that's a negative stereotype that the white people didn't have a problem putting out there for their agenda. trust me when I say this, I love gangster rap. But I love it as an entertainment. I love it for the creativity. I love it because it speaks to, like Neisha said, where they come from, what they go through. The problem is, or the problem was, when arts or life started imitating art and it got out of hand, because some people know the difference between entertainment. I didn't listen to gangster rap and say, oh, I wanted to be a strawberry, I wanted to be a hoe, or I wanted to go shoot somebody, or blah, 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 blah. But I think this was the wrong time at this place in California for them to put them brothers up there like that. Point blank, period.
So I'm gonna say this before you go back to you. So as she mentioned about the Pookie and Ray Rays, I don't have a problem with Pookie and Ray Ray. I really don't. As long as they do what they're supposed to do, I don't. I feel like they get a lot of representation even when they don't even try, because that Pookie and Ray Ray name comes out of people's mouths so much, it's hilarious. But if we want to talk about Pookie and Ray Rays and the stereotype of what they look like, we talking about Snoop, we talking about the Dr. Dre, we talking about Kendrick Lamar, we talking about Jay-Z. And all these individuals that I just named, they're wealthy. They're not poor. They're not hustling right now. They're not selling drugs in the community. They're not doing drive-bys. They're not. Now, in their past, could that be tied to them? I mean, well, they rap about it in their music. Does it mean it's 100% true? Well, we don't know. We don't know. But what I will say, if I was a Pookie and Ray Ray, and I turned on that channel and watched that Super Bowl performance, I'd be like, they got it right. They telling my story. And look what they doing. I can do that too. I can go out there and I could do my music. I can channel that energy that I usually do when I want to fuck somebody up. I can channel that into some music, and who knows, maybe 5-10 years from now, I could be on a Super Bowl performing. I could sit there and go and do a concert and perform. Most of your performers that performed at the Super Bowl this past 2 weeks ago, their music is back in the top 20 billboards.
Yes.
Their shit is selling out.
Yes.
So who am I, your regular average Jane, who am I to say that your representation is a bad look for me? When you're representing that small group in the community that exists, that we can't hide anymore, because everybody got something to say about Pookie and Ray Ray. And granted, we got some Pookie and Ray Rays that ain't shit. I'm not gonna lie to you.
We would call them Dusties. We don't call them Pookie and Ray Ray.
Okay,
Let's
all right.
call them Dusties.
We can call them that.
Dust
We can call them that. But then you have some of them that I respect, and they don't have to say you need to respect me. They do what they supposed to do. They make sure that they protect who they supposed to protect. They make sure that they weren't gonna stay at the bottom like they came from. They have. And I'm not mad at them. I'm not. For my high earners and high value men that or women that have something to say, if you don't want to see that as a representation, do something about it.
Let me go back to that, because here's the thing. We're talking about Gen X, and we're talking about the millennials and the mumble rap and how violent it is and how degrading it is. And we brought back gangster rap, and gangster rap was supposed to be misogynistic. It was supposed to be degrading to women. It was, and I'm not just speaking about me personally as a black woman. I'm speaking about these impressionable minded children that don't have no direction, that will look at this, and some might say, when Neisha say, I got out the hood, and it might start a lot of more gang banging, because I was an hour away from the Super Bowl and they were shooting all damn day long. And I know it was the Crips and the Bloods. So we can sit up here and play like we're in a perfect world, but we're not in a perfect world. And yes, let's talk about they made money. They did make money. Their streamings are out of control right now. But I'm talking about the better good of the black community. So they made money. Jay-Z was put in a position for social justice. I want to know, since you made so much money, how much? And the white people, if they made money, then the white people made more money. I want to know, since this was a part of helping the black community. How much of those white dollars are going to turn into black dollars? Or did we just help Mary J. Blige pay off her alimony?
Ooh.
Did we just help Dr. Dre put a dent in his alimony? Did we just help Snoop put a dent in that brand new clothing store that he opened on the same day of the Super Bowl? That's what I want to know. I don't give a damn about just an individual. I'm talking about my people. Because here's the thing. We are getting fucking gentrified up out of here. So the Super Bowl made a lot of money. And people can say, oh, well, there were still some people that got some money that were black. Okay. And the people that were made it to stay open, yeah, they probably did make some money that day. But did that make up for the 2 years that they didn't have no business because of gentrification or the pandemic, where people lost their businesses? That's what I'm talking about. I'm looking at the overall effect, because we can't complain that they stereotype us negative and then cheer it on at the same time. We're going to have to fucking pick a door. And we're going to have to stay on fucking cold. And what the hell do we got to celebrate? A lot of African-American people are out of jobs. Here's my thing. So did y'all know that Caltrans a few days before sent out 500 people to clear out the perimeter of the SoFi Stadium? See, we used to have homeless people. We now have homeless communities. So they had to go out there and clean up all those homeless communities so that it wouldn't put a stain on the SoFi for the tourism that was coming in. And those homeless people were misplaced. And majority of those homeless people are African American men. So I'm looking at the whole goddamn thing. A couple of days before, or was it a week before? Because me and you spoke about this. The young lady that got murdered in Inglewood, she was 20 years old. They killed her. They killed her sister. And they killed 2 more other people. I'm talking about the whole impact. So, hold on. The SoFi was in the middle of Inglewood. How many of Inglewood black residents got to attend the SoFi Super Bowl that were African American? They couldn't. They didn't, because the cheapest ticket was like $4,300. So if we're talking about Jay-Z and his social change and what he's going to do with this initiative and help out black people, I want to know where that money is going to. Point blank, period.
Yeah, I can't answer how many people in Inglewood went to SoFi. I can't. I don't know. I don't know the stats. What I will say is I agree that gentrification is happening, but we've been saying this was going to happen for years. We saw it coming. We saw the changes happening, not just in Inglewood, but all the cities of California. So we can't wait till now to be like, oh, it's the Super Bowl going on, so we need to discuss this and talk about it. And it's like, we've been talking about it. People know what's going on. We saw it happening. Am I shocked that they moved the people that was homeless living around there out the way? No, they do it all the time. That's why people, when they say they go to Hollywood, it's a joke, because one side of the street looks wealthy and luxurious, and you go right around the corner and you on Skid Row. We know this. It's not a surprise. And I mean, as far as like gangster rap taking over, no, gangster rap had its moment. It's mumble rap time. It is.
Well, mumble rap is gangster too.
Mumble rap, in my opinion, is, I hate to say this shit, but a lot of your mumble rappers today, literally, first off, you can't really understand what the fuck they saying. Nothing. And second off, they're really talking about their addictions. Yeah.
And they're talking about killing too. And they're talking about sleeping with women and then robbing them after they take them to the hotel. Oh, I listen every day because I need to know what the hell they're talking about.
Let me finish.
So they're talking about gangster stuff
let me
too.
Finish.
I'll let you finish.
You didn't. You cut me off.
No, you cut
me off.
You said they weren't gangsters. Yes, they are. They're all gangsters.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to what I said. Most of your mumble rappers of today are not real gangsters. Most of your mumble rappers of today are addicts, and they sit there and sing and cry about it in their music. Most of your mumble rappers of today are wannabes. That's what they are. They are. They're not real ones. When they come across real ones, you see what happens. I mean, shit, Kodak Black got shot the night before the Super Bowl because he thought he was something. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not making excuses. I'm not trying to talk down on these individuals, and I'm not trying to promote gangsters. I'm not. But what I will say is that to me, when I feel like gangster rap was kind of a detriment into the music or the industry, I feel like that was more between your 90s and your early 2000s. When I listen to rap music today, it ain't got shit on what they used to say back in the day, in my opinion. It don't. It's different. To me, it's a joke. It's not the same. Yes, you may have some that talk about how many bras they sleep with. You may talk about how many, syrup and everything else they take to deal with life. You may have some that talk about, being raised by mama and daddy not being there or being locked up and all that. You may have that happening, but if I were to compare that to what NWA was saying, if I was to compare that to what Snoop used to say, if I was to compare that to what some of these other OG rappers of today, if I was to compare that to them, it's a completely different game. It really is. Mm-hmm. And so seeing them perform at the Super Bowl, in my opinion, is not going to make the younger generation sit there and go, ooh, I want to go out there and be a gangster. It's not in my opinion. But we all entitled to our opinions, and it's okay to be different and think different. But that's just my thought.
Okay. I really looked at it as more like a flashback. Like, it took me back in time, and it had that real warm and fuzzy feeling it made me feel. And yeah, not that it was glorifying gang banging, I don't think. I just felt like it just took me back to a place of remembrance, and I just thought about it, and I loved it. I loved
Would you remember?
I loved the music, the dance, that feeling of remembering my community, where I'm from, and what that was about. Not necessarily the gang banging part of it, but just your friends and your people during that time period, the 90s. And yeah, just that's all that it did for me. But as I looked at it further, and I'll ask you ladies this too, when you're given that big of a magnet, that platform, what do you feel could have been done different if you really feel that it was promoting gangster rap? But even if it wasn't, was there something else that we could have focused on that would have made a difference when you had that amount of time and that amount of people watching? What could we have done to give the audience and let them know something about African Americans?
Honestly, I don't know. I would have to take time to plot it and plan it. But considering who Dre selected to perform with him, I don't know if he could have did things differently. Right. Because to me, it was like, I look at the performers.
I see that.
Lord.
Where'd it go?
Oh no. Okay. I looked at the performers, and each performer to me was a representation of a certain hood. You had Mary representing her hood, because she represents a group of women that come from where she comes from. You had 50 Cent representing where he from, right? And it wasn't like, I'm from here, but it was just like, you just see it. You had Kendrick representing where he was from. You even had Eminem, Detroit, you had different representations from different groups of people per performer. So I don't know. I don't know how different you could be based on with those performers. I know that there's no way the NFL was going to let you just be like, let me post this sign for the next 15 minutes to tell y'all about gentrification. It had to be entertaining. About if not, their viewer count is gonna go down. Right. Nobody's gonna watch it, and they're gonna be like, okay, no more. You're gonna go back to your country artists. You're gonna go back to everybody but black people. So they're not gonna do that either. So I don't know. I honestly don't know.
It is us, and it's it is part of who we are. You know what I mean? What would you do? If you were given that platform? What do you think they could have done different?
Like I said, no black people should have been there. Not right now at this moment. Not at these crucial times. That's it. That's all. They could have did some R&B or something, as far as I'm concerned. That's just my opinion. Right. Because I have seen a lot, and and read a lot of young men are being murdered because of their music. Their music is just as dangerous as our music was. Right. I listen to it all day because I want to know what the hell they're saying. I want to know what my granddaughter is up against.
Right.
I want to know what these ladies that are Gen X and millennials are up against. And that's your biggest clue when you listen to that type of music. And some of it is so appalling that I have to, while I'm driving in my car, I be screenshotting shit so I can go back and listen to the lyrics, because like Neisha said, they mumbling. But they saying some real crazy shit in these new songs.
Yes, they
and
are.
some of them are worse than what the gangster raps were saying. They were fighting against the police in a lot of times. But these, they're having gender wars where they don't even have, woman against man and man against woman, and get this money and I'm going to rob you before you rob me. And it's very dangerous. I wouldn't have done it right now.
Right.
That's just my opinion. I care about my community. I care about what's going on in California, and I care about these young people. And I just think that for the world to see that, other races of people is going to think this is the representation of black men and women in California, and I don't want to be a part of that stereotype.
Right. Okay. So final thoughts. I think this was a good.
I just want to no, because they were talking about Eminem taking a knee.
Oh, yeah.
And so what? See, the problem wasn't Eminem taking the knee at the halftime show. The problem was taking the knee during the national anthem. So what? I'm saying, and see, my problem is with the men. The men was trying to justify this more than the women. When you say this is the greatest halftime ever and it was off the chain, but I just thought y'all was complaining. And the men are supposed to be, regardless of what we say as women, the men are supposed to be the people that create the environment. So how you gonna talk about Pookie and Ray Ray and how we won't mess with y'all, the lames and the educated dudes, and then say this was the greatest thing of all times? Him taking a knee, so what? He got white privilege. So what?
There's that.
And his streaming went up as well.
Yeah.
And I thought he was a culture vulture.
They always give him a pass.
I thought he said black women was bitches.
He had.
And they dumb. But today, see,
he's-
that's what I'm saying. I don't like the hypocrisy of black people.
Switching
how people can be lured to sleep.
1 minute, yeah.
And then we sit on the internet and whine and complain and talk shit. Do we really want change? That's all I'm saying. And sometimes we got to hold on. We got to fall back. We got to do something different. Just get something different. That's my thing. And it just seems like that. You just throw something up in there and we back to,
doing the
G.
G.
Doing the G.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Eminem, he going to get some money too. I think his streams were the highest of all of them. And Jay-Z going to get some money too. Not because of he put together, but he wrote Dre Day. Eminem wrote a lot of the rap music for Dre. So is Eminem white money going to turn into some black money? We shall see. That's all I got to say about it.
No, she didn't pat her foot.
Yes,
Okay.
it did. No, she did. Yes, it did.
That's a sign it's done. We done. We done. Okay.
For my final thought, like I said, I don't know if you could have done anything different. I know that there was no way you're going to, let me take a knee for the next 14 minutes.
Right,
no.
exactly.
Let me hold up signs about what's going on in the communities. They don't care. Let me sit there and talk about the racism. They don't care. Like, I don't know if you could, I don't know if there would have been anything different. I mean, with the exception of, he could have had some better props. But other than that, like, I don't know. Because if I'm comparing the performance to previous performers, granted, they had more props, they had more things to make you go, And you're right, because and it was $13 million, but he put an extra 7 on it. Yeah,
and
it's still just
dull as hell.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tams in Compton. Though.
Okay. Yeah. Exactly.
But for it to be Dre Day, and he put an extra $7 million on it, it was boring.
It was just like because so you're upstairs and then you're downstairs, and then you upstairs and then you downstairs. Like it was just like I don't know. If I'm looking at like Mike. Michael Jackson.
Oh, I know.
Lord, you know,
I
he
know,
would disappear,
right.
reappear.
Yeah, come
you
out
didn't
the
know where
air,
he was
the
coming
airplane.
from.
Right.
You know, or Prince
yeah.
made
Yeah.
it rain. You know, like
Yeah.
it was Lady Gaga.
God
She
damn,
was able.
yeah.
She made it look like she jumped from off the balcony and landed somewhere when really she didn't. It was just, but it looked, you know, from the TV, like there was different things where you'd be like, damn, how they do that? Whereas for their performance, it was just like
This big white building.
a white
Two
building.
little
two
low
low
riders.
riders.
Well,
Yeah.
they blew up a little bit of the
A little
side of
chunk
the
for
biz
Eminem.
with Eminem.
Yeah, a little
for the
chunk.
New World
Yeah.
Order.
A little chunk, and then
Check
that
out
was
those lyrics.
Okay.
and that was really it. So I mean, if I was from that perspective, I wish they would have had a little bit more, especially
and-
especially for
glitter
as
and
each performer came out.
And
you
see,
know?
that doesn't that kind of show you that they really didn't want that there?
I don't know if it was they or if it was Dre.
Yeah, maybe he was the one
because
to
Dre
design
and
them.
most of the performers were.
But if they had so many restrictions on they couldn't wear blue or they couldn't do this or they couldn't do that, then they really didn't want them there. See, I said I was going to shut up.
Censoring stuff too much.
They always use us
they
to
still
make
did it.
more money.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
They don't care how we're portrayed. They just want the money.
Yeah.
And we fall for the okie doke
Every
because we can
time.
get the money. But if we getting a little, they getting a lot.
True.
And as we lose, they're winning.
Win.
And it's the same old play time after time after time.
Yeah. I think,
Final thoughts?
Yeah. The shiniest thing to me was Mary J. Blige's Boots, and Boots was bad. Okay.
Final thoughts.
Nisha, that thing ain't even by you.
Okay, I just see it in the screen.
And then what was I saying? Okay, yeah. So I think the shiniest thing was her boots. I think that the feel good part was for me. It felt good, and yeah, they could have probably done a little something different. But hey,
what the hell? Why did she fall out?
Oh, that's what she just kind of
her tantrum. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, that's it. Thank you. And remember to
If she go treating us like we the help again, you're welcome.
Yeah, exactly. Just say you're welcome. Okay. Yeah. So I think this was a very good topic. Maybe and definitely, Mona, you brought up some very interesting that made me look at this totally different. But I just want to say that go ahead.
Let me say one more thing.
Goodness.
How did the Super Bowl get us closer to black empowerment? How did the Super Bowl get us closer to owning something, controlling something, and passing it down to the next generation? How did the Super Bowl help us stop police brutality, which is supposed to be a part of this initiative? How is it helping us get reparations for our people? That's the questions that was going through my mind. And I did not watch it during the Super Bowl. I watched the replay on YouTube because I wasn't giving them a view. That's the questions that I want to ask Black America. We got to stop playing. We got to stop shaking our asses. We got to stop crip walking and be walking and walking around in khakis and get on our business. I'm sorry, I had to bring that up. You might close this out.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Before you close. As much shit as people talk about when it comes to Pookie and Ray Ray, you mean to tell me Pookie and Ray Ray is now responsible for all that now?
I didn't say Pookie and Ray Ray was responsible
I'm not
for
saying
it.
you are. I'm just saying for those that think like that, to say that where is this list of things that they're trying to improve? You got quote unquote Pookie and Ray Rays that was responsible for that Super Bowl, and you telling me this their job? Or I thought that was a response for your high
First of all,
men.
Pookie and Ray Ray was not responsible for that Super Bowl. The white people was responsible for that Super Bowl. That's why the black people should have said, fuck you, we not doing the Super Bowl. Y'all ain't did shit for us yet. That's what I'm talking about. Leave some comments. Tell me what you think. Tell me if I'm off base, if I lost my old ass mind. To the next episode, we're out, BGP.
Thank you. Bye. Where's the